So most coaches and consultants believe that you have to jump on sales call after sales call, Zoom call after Zoom call in order to close high-ticket clients. But what if I told you that there's a better, faster, and ultimately a more profitable way of doing this without jumping on one-on-one calls? Today, we're going to talk about that, and also make sure you stick around to the very, very end, because this can completely transform how you scale your business. So right now, you might be relying on Zoom calls, chasing down referrals, dealing with no-shows, or honestly trying to build up a sales team. And to be honest, it's exhausting. Like, it limits how many clients you could take on every single month, and it also limits your profitability. See, the problem with one-on-one sales call models is that they're hard to scale. I'm not saying they're not scalable, they're just really hard to scale. Because when you're the one closing all of the sales, your revenue is actually directly tied to your time on your calendar. And when you're trying to build up a sales team, your revenue is directly attributed to someone else's skill of being able to close deals or their willingness to work. It's oftentimes that people will have up and down roller coaster months when they have sales teams, because they're really hard to manage their emotions and making sure they're consistently performing. So today we're going to be introducing you to a strategy that might just be able to break this cycle for you entirely. It's with paid live events. I'm sure you've heard of these before, but ultimately they're very, very simple. It's when someone buys a ticket to attend some sort of a virtual or technically an in-person event. You go live as low as 1 to 2 hours, as many as it could be a 15 or 20 hour workshop. Totally depends on how you want to host it. But then during the event, you will at some point give an offer to work with you after the event's over. What we found personally with this model is that these paid events are a really great way to get a whole lot of qualified prospects into your funnel, and then being able to pitch them a premium offer that they're already aligned with in the first place. Imagine for a moment that you have 50 people buy a ticket to a virtual event that you're going to be hosting. You're going to go live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for, call it 1 hour a day. 3 total hours of your time. Of the 50 people that buy tickets, all of a sudden you give a fantastic presentation, you deliver a whole bunch of value and goodwill, and of those 50, let's say somewhere between 5 and 10 of them actually pay you for your high ticket offer on Wednesday. Ultimately, this live event strategy gives you leverage, it positions you as an expert, and it also builds trust faster than any sales call could. So you're probably asking at this point, how in the world do I sell these high ticket offers without any of these one-on-one sales calls? So let's break it down for you in 3 simple steps. Step number 1 is all about paid event positioning. I always say you need to charge for entry, but why? The answer is pretty simple. It's because when people pay, they pay attention. And a paid event is going to immediately filter out all of those tire kickers that really you or your sales team definitely don't want to talk to. It's also going to kick out all of the freebie seeking leads that are never going to buy from you in the first place. Immediately takes care of that. Also, it's going to position you as a premium expert from the start before you even go live. They are paying to get your knowledge from the very get-go. This is also going to help you solve for your show rate. You see, most of the people that are hosting, I would say, free events, whether it's a free webinar or honestly just like a free challenge, a normal industry standard conversion rate as of January of 2025 is typically around 10 to maybe 20% for a free event like that. For paid events as low as, I don't know, $5, $7, even $10 tickets even, you're looking at somewhere between a 30 to a 50% show rate. As high as 60% is the highest we're getting currently on low price tickets. And if you charge somewhere around $97 all the way up to $300 for your tickets, you're likely going to get somewhere between 70 to an 80% show rate. Not only does this solve for your show rate, it's also going to solve for your conversion rate. Once again, the more people that are there that have not just signed up, they have literally paid you and trusted you with their 16-digit credit card number, they are so much easier to upsell into a higher end offer as compared to trying to sell to freebie seeking leads. Step number 2 is all about the event structure itself. Your event isn't just about teaching. It's about creating the belief shifts and the emotional engagement necessary in order to take someone from point A to point B. Structure it like this: get on the call or get on the virtual event, deliver a whole bunch of value, break their limiting beliefs, and ultimately then position your high ticket offer as the logical next step that they need in order to get the result that they're looking for. Let's say that you sell fitness coaching, and on your virtual event, you are talking about how important it is to have accountability, and that without accountability, hitting your macros and working out is likely going to fall by the wayside. And so now, over the course of a couple days, they're getting bought into the idea that they need accountability, and all of a sudden, your high ticket offer, which just so happens to provide a whole bunch of accountability for them, is positioned. It's a no-brainer for them to take action on. Also, when you deliver your content like this, it's going to accelerate the rate at which someone can build trust with you. As they are getting to spend multiple hours with you in a very short amount of time, it's way more effective as compared to maybe your 1 to 2 call close that you're trying to force in a normal call booking model. Everyone knows that the best customers already have to know, like, and trust you in order to do business with you. This simply manufactures that at a much greater rate of speed. And lastly, step 3 is all about your irresistible offer. So the final step in crafting an irresistible offer offer is threefold here. So number one is that it has to be irresistible, meaning a cold audience, not a warm lead or word of mouth referral. We're talking cold audience who doesn't already know, like, and trust you. They have to hear about the offer and say, yeah, this is a no-brainer. So it's all about how you position it. Number two, it's got to be scalable in fulfillment. The way that we are positioning these paid live events is that you can actually take as low as 5 clients on it a day, but ideally you're taking on hundreds of clients in a day. You can't do that with a super high touch, done for you, boutique style model. You've really got to make sure that your program or whatever you're selling is scalable in nature to fulfill on. And number three, in order to make sure your event is actually profitable after your cost of acquisition on the front end, you got to make sure you're charging some sort of a high ticket amount. I'd say at minimum $5,000, as much as probably $30,000. Now, outside of the fact that your offer should be irresistible in nature, I do encourage you to still include some of the bare bone marketing fundamentals, such as like their fast action bonuses, some sort of a deadline to actually make the decision by as well. Now, I know you might be thinking at this point, well, Zach, this sounds great, but I've never hosted an event before. Why would I suddenly be able to host this event and convert with a whole bunch of success? Well, number one, I'm not saying that you would be able to host and convert with a bunch of success. At the end of the day, if you've never done any of this before, it's a new skill for you. So expect to start at ground zero. But secondly, you don't need to be a professional speaker. As long as you are a subject matter expert on whatever it is that you are teaching people, it shouldn't be a problem for you to get on in front of a Zoom call and be able to deliver some value over the course of a few days, 1 to 2 hours a day. And also keep in mind, if they're buying tickets, they're way easier to sell to. You don't have to have some crazy hyped up pitch. Obviously, there are a ton of sales mechanisms that you could deploy to increase your conversion rate, but simply having a good offer is probably the most important step here. You also might be saying, well, this sounds great, but once again, my offer is actually too expensive for group events. There's no way that people are going to be able to buy this without a one-on-one offer. Well, for what it's worth, I have no idea what you charge, so I can't say that that is true or false. I will say that we've seen these events convert really, really well. As low as $1,000 to $2,000 offers, as much as $30,000 offers, all day long. Not being sarcastic remotely when I say that. I've got data that supports all of that. I will say that the sweet spot we found is somewhere between 5 and 15, probably $20,000 offers is really that sweet spot. When it's less than $5,000, your profitability is going to take a hit. You'll still probably convert really, really well, but after your cost of acquisition on the front end to fill up your paid event, you might not be as excited about your back end profits. Now, on the other end, if you have an offer that sells for somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000, then the paid virtual events might not make the most sense. I've absolutely seen them work, actually as high as $50,000+, but it might be more efficient for you to either do paid in-person events or obviously stick with your traditional call booking style model. Given the fact that you are closing, call it $100,000 deals in that case, it really doesn't take too many calls to close in order to be able to create a $1 million month. And some of you might be asking, hey, what if I host this and there's a whole bunch of people that attend, but no one buys? Well, I want to remind you, the right structure here should build momentum so that the audience actually feels like they're ready to take action and continue working with you before you even give them a pitch. And if you'd like more information on how to actually convert really well during your events, let me know below in the comments and I'll make sure to create a video for you. Let me share a quick story on how this all comes together in real life. So one of our clients, Michael, he came to us in summer of 2024, and he was in the process of scaling up his sales team. They were doing one-on-one sales calls, selling a $6,000 education offer. And all credit to him, they were crushing it. They were doing a few $100,000 a month pretty consistently, might I add. But they were curious, how do we get a few $100,000 in a day rather than a month? So we began testing out an event strategy where they could sell tickets to a 2-day event in his specific case, and then obviously sell the $6,000 offer in the back end. We spent about $96,000 on the front end, and we sold over 1,100 tickets. Now, of the 1,100 tickets that were sold, we ended up converting 80 of them into his back-end $6,000 offer. All of those were converted within about a week's time. So that does not include the almost 1,000 people that are left who can still obviously buy from him down the road and are continuing to be nurtured through his pipeline. Since then, we've rehosted the event month over month over month, October, November, December, and we're doing more in January and February this year. And every single time, we're getting more and more sales in the back end. He's getting better at converting, and we're getting better at the front end cost of acquisition. That's the power of this strategy. It's compounding. Not only can you create, at least potentially, a huge surge of cash the first time you do it, you now are creating an evergreen sales system that can continue to bring clients in like clockwork. Now, you don't have to worry about the up and down months of a sales team if you know that you have an actual sales presentation that consistently produces sales, it doesn't matter if you've got 10 people on the call or 10,000 people on the call, you know that you're going to convert a certain percentage of those people into paying clients. If you'd like our help planning, hosting, and scaling your first or next paid event, check out the link in the description and we can have a conversation about what that could look like to partner up on your next event. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to smash that like button or the subscribe button for more videos around scaling up your high-ticket business every week.